my name is Kate Kalthoff and welcome to a Stamping to Share video. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to create a card with the Graceful Garden stamp set, and we'll be using the small rose that you see right here, but it also includes a larger rose, a sprig of leaves, and then this lovely background, and then a couple of sentiments that could be easily put onto tags or into your card. So let's go ahead and look at the card right now. It looks just like this, and we are going to be using the metallic foil doilies in gold and silver. So this one uses silver, and the card that I make for you is going to use gold. And then when you open it up, it's a blank card, so you can put whatever you want in there, and then just another little strip of the designer series paper on the inside. So let's go ahead and look at this designer series paper that we're using. It's a 6x6 paper stack. It's in the annual catalog, and we're going to use this top paper right here for our card, but there's many papers that you could choose from, and all of them would look just absolutely awesome. So we'll flip through here. And on one side you have the floral, and then on the other side you have a solid color. And so that's kind of nice. These paper packs offer a lot of versatility in that way. All right, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that we're going to need is some Calypso Coral cardstock. This is 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored at 5 1/2. And I'm just going to fold this over, and then I love to use a bullet folder just to crease this fold so that the card will lie flat for us while we're working with it. The next thing we're going to do is put our inside panel into the card. This is 4 by 5 1/4. This is Whisper White paper, and I did take the liberty of going ahead and adding that little strip of designer series paper along the bottom. This is 1/2 inch by 4 inches. And now what we can do is just add this to the inside panel. So to do that, I'm just going to turn this over, add a little snail here along the top, and then we can set this in, making sure that all 4 borders are nice and even. Now we'll work on that outside panel. So we're going to start here with a piece of old olive paper. This is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And we'll be layering up a piece of that Petal Garden designer series paper, and this is 3 by 4 inches. So we're just going to go ahead and just glue that into place with just a little line of glue all the way around the edges, and then we can go ahead and we'll just wiggle this into place so that all 4 corners are nice and even. All right, so now we can go ahead and set this right onto our card because there's no ribbon to wrap on this particular piece. So I'm going to again take some multi-purpose liquid glue, and we're just going to glue this right here onto our card, making sure that this top edge and the left edge are even. We want to have that, a little bit less than 1/2 inch on each side. And now we're going to add our foil. So Stampin' Up sells metallic foil doilies that look like this, both in gold and silver, 2 different sizes. You get 24 doilies, so that would be 6 of each kind. And we are going to use this gold doily right here. So I'm going to just go ahead, add a little multi-purpose liquid glue to the back, and we'll just set this in right like that. Our next step is to take some old olive 1/8 inch sheer ribbon, and we are just going to use some Scotch tape to put this into place. So we can Scotch tape right over the top of the doily because no one will know it's there once we've added our floral element. So we'll just go ahead and we'll bring this around to the back. We know exactly how long it needs to be. Trim this off, and again, we'll just use a little Scotch tape to attach that. I'll set this right like so. And so now we have our ribbon wrap complete. The next thing that we need to do is a little bit of stamping. So I'm going to set the card aside for a minute, and I just have a piece of Whisper White scrap paper. I'm going to take that small rose element from Graceful Garden, and I'm going to use some old olive ink, and we're just going to ink this up and stamp it right here in the middle of our Whisper White scrap paper. Then I will grab a 2-inch circle punch, also from Stampin' Up. We're going to set this in like so and give that a little punch out. Now we're going to use a Stampin' Blend. Stampin' Blends come as a duo if you wish, and so I purchased the Old Olive Duo, which comes with a dark color and a lighter color. So I'm going to use the lighter color, and I'm going to take the top of this off and just go in and color in these leaves with that lighter Old Olive. And because we're using dye-based inks or water-based inks, you can go ahead and color with confidence, and you don't need to worry about anything smearing. So actually these blender pens work great, not only with our Tuxedo Black ink, but also with our dye-based inks, such as all of our colored inks in our classic pads. All right, now that we have that done, we are going to have to clean our stamp because we need to stamp a piece of Calypso Coral scrap paper with Calypso Coral. So we're going to do some tone-on-tone stamping. To do that, I'm going to bring in the Stampin' Scrub. This is kind of like a mini washer and dryer, except it's a lot less expensive. And what I do is I just put a little piece of blue painter's tape on one side. That way I know the side that I'm washing on, and then the other side is my dry side. So I'm going to bring in some Stampin' Mist, and I'll squirt a little on here. Then I can just take my little rose that's already inked up in Old Olive, clean that off, and then dry it on the other side. And then it's ready to go to be stamped with our Calypso Coral. So I'll move that back out of the way, and we'll bring the Calypso Coral pad in here, ink up that now clean stamp, and stamp our Calypso Coral just like so. So let me bring it up to the camera. You can see that. So what we want to do now is cut out this rose. Just to save a little time on the video, I went ahead and I did stamp this in advance, and I did start fussy cutting it, and now I'll just finish fussy cutting it and set this aside, and then we can go ahead and glue this directly onto this olive colored rose. So I'm just going to take some multi-purpose liquid glue, add a little circle of it right there, and then we can just set this on right over the top, line it up. The glue, of course, gives us a little wiggle room to do that. And our image is ready to be put onto our card. So we're going to do that with some dimensionals. And as you can see, I use 3 dimensionals. You'll also notice back here that the blender pens did bleed through a little bit. So if you aren't using a protective mat like I am, you may want to consider putting a piece of scrap paper down onto your tabletop before you start coloring, so you don't actually bleed onto your tabletop or anything that you would not want to get marker on. And so now we'll just center this in on our doily, give it a little press, and all we have to do now to complete this card is add a bow. So again, I took the 1/8 inch sheer Old Olive ribbon, tied a little bow, added a glue dot to it, and we can set this right here. And our card is done. So here's the card I've just completed. Here is the card I had done in advance. Thank you so much for joining me today. I truly appreciate you. Be sure to visit my blog at www.stampingtoshare.com, and I have links there for you to place product orders. Have a great day. Bye-bye.